There are several constraints in SQL. You have checks, you have unique, null or not null, what else? You can also use default to assign values. So let's talk about what each of this means and how we can use it. Now checks is going to check a particular record if it matches, or a particular input if it matches a criteria. For example, now we have the books schema has been defined at the top. So now for this book schema, now let's say that the minimum number of pages that these books can take in is maybe 500. Let's say we have something around this. What this means is that any book that is going to be inserted into this books table has to have a minimum number of pages of 500, which means that if it doesn't have a minimum number of 500 pages, the book should not be inserted. That's what this checks is going to do. So it's going to continue to take entries as long as this condition is met. That's a case study of using these checks. So if the value, if the pages is less than 500, it's going to throw back an error and say that this checks is not the condition is not met. For unique, now for unique, if you put in a value here, let's say unique here, unique here would mean that the value, the title here, must not be a duplicate, which means that anytime you write, let's say for example now, let's say now that we have an entry let's say we have an entry the beginning. I know we have an entry the beginning before in my own. Let's say we have this entry from an author, and another author also write the same book the beginning. SQL is going to throw back an error saying that this is now a duplicate. So this unique ensures that there are no duplicate entries of the same value in the column. So when you use unique, you are explicitly saying that this record must not occur. So usually you won't see unique being used for titles. It will be used for columns like username or maybe some code being generated or thereabout. It can be used for entities like title. Okay. Now the next one will be not and null. Now not null and null is another constraints that we can use. Not null or null. So null means empty. Not null means not empty. So when I say not empty and I say something about and I put something like let's say it's going to get rid of this, and I say not null here, what I'm saying is that anytime I want to insert a value, the date must not be left empty. At the moment, the way it is, I can decide to leave in some of those parameters being empty. As a matter of fact, if I run this select statement now, you see that some of the records are empty. Okay, hold on. You see that some of the records are empty, like year of production, they are empty. But if I had actually added this constraint, no, when I was defining the table, SQL would not allow this entry to be completed. It will never allow this entry to be added to the table, because it will tell you that the year of production is empty and that record or that column cannot be left empty. So you have to put in a value there. But because when we were defining the table, we didn't put anything of not null or a constraint there, it will allow any kind of behavior. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now the last one is default. And what does default do? Default is saying, okay, I expect that you have a value for this record or for this column or for this cell, but if your user does not put in a value there, then what value do you want me to put? For example, if I say now, if I say books now and I say the year of production is not given, and I put in a default value, put in a default and I say something about maybe 2023 07 08. So which means that anytime a user does not put in the year of production, it should replace that cell with this value.
With the default date.
Exactly. So if a year is not added, then this date will then be added, or I can put in another value. I can say something like get date. So what get date method is going to do here is that it's going to put in the current date of that day where the value was inserted.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand? So it will put
Yes,
in that value there. So that's that about the constraints that we have. Any question or questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. So the other concepts that we're also going to look at this evening is dates. Now, as an analyst, we cannot do without dates. We're going to have to deal with dates in one way or the other. So now, to the data type for dates, just date alone is dates, and this date will then come in. This date will come in year, month, day. And for date time, you can also have date time, which is year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds. And we have timestamp also, and we have just year. So all of these are used to write the day. So when I wanted to define adding the date column inside when I wanted to add that to my schema, I just called the date function, if you remember. I think where is it again? So I just called in the dates like this, and then it allocates the date as the column. So that's that about like dates. So we have different date methods too. We have date add, we have date part, we have date div. So all these dates methods are used to perform math operations on date itself. Date add is going to add the number of days or dates that you want it to add to a particular date, whether it's in year, month, or day. You have to pass in the parameter. Then you have date part. Date part is saying you can subtract two dates from each other. Date div is saying you can take away this amount of number of either years, months, or day from a particular date. So this method also exists for the dates. Okay, so but then when you probably work on these things, you know the practicability of how it works. So then also we have views. Let's see, I don't have, okay, let's see if I can work with dates here. Dates part, dates hard, and date div. Let's see. I know that we have something on select, everything from books. So I can add maybe 5 to the dates now. All I just have to do is to say date add. It's a method. Can you see date add, date div, date name, date parts, date length? There's just quite a number. When I say date add, what date add is going to do is going to take in the year. I can say YUP. So what date add is going to do is that it's going to take in what you want it to add. Let me just print this separately. So what you want it to add, which is the year, the number of years you want it to add, which is 5, and the year, the date that you want it to add it past that last. So you can see now that 5 years has been added to year. But if I say month here, five months has been added to months. But if I say day now, 5 years has been added. Sorry, 5 days has been added to the
Yes, ma'am.
days. So this is how dates add works. The same way we can have date div. So date div takes in the same parameter of what you can add, remove, and the likes. So these are handful methods that you might want to use to solve problems in SQL. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so we have quite a number of other functions too. We have date part. So this part is saying I want to return part of the dates. So which means that you might want to return the year, only just the year, or just the day, or just the month of a particular date. So now to return this, I'm just going to say let's see. So now date part for day, you see that it's only extracting the day. If I say month, can you see? And if I change it to year, it will extract the year
Indeed.
from the dates. Optionally, we have, are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Optionally, we have date name also. Now, what does date name? What would it do? So date name will return a particular part of the date. For example, let's say that um, so date name is basically going to return the name of the date in numeric. So now if I say so date name, and then can you see date name will return the name of the month that you specified. Are we together?